Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin Stern coming at you with my regular Sunday dinner. Earlier in the Ration Museum stream, I said I was having the jalfrezi with lamb, but it's actually the Saag Chole. So the jalfrezi with lamb I've had before. That's my favorite of these Halal MREs. And the Saag Chole is my second favorite. I wish I had another jalfrezi. But anyway, this is a 2019 ration. This is done by Sapaco, but it is not a bag with a peelable seal, as I showed in the other Halal MRE that I did a few weeks ago. That was kindly sent by another reviewer. It is in the same packaging that you would find in an AmeriQual MRE with the, this is the inner bag style. I do believe I have an AmeriQual MRE coming up in a few weeks that will have this type of bag. So since this is 2019, I think 2018 they were still in the clear bag with the peelable seal and not in this type of packaging. And as you can see, the snacks or all the other pouches are not silver. They changed from that thin silver foil, which did not provide much protection to the contents, to these tan packages that you would find in the standard MREs and MCWs and First Strike rations. And what they do is they put the name of the menu or the main, they put the sleeve on the back side so you can see what it is, because as you can see there is no menu number. Have the packing company, you got the Halal certification, and that's pretty much it. So there's no date codes. I see Angry Blacksmith and Chris is in the house. I see a third viewer. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. There we go. Let's see. Puppy Breath is in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So right off the top, now this one happens to have, I'm not sure what the date code on this would be. There is James in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Might not want to focus on this, but I would go with the 0113, but then that would make it a 2020. Well, look at the other items and see if there are any more date codes. So this is a new one. I had not seen this in an MRE. This is the card, the nutrition card for banana pudding. So that will be buried under here. Fruit and nut mix. Oh, this might be a 2020 because this has a 0 as a first digit. So this could be a 2020 instead of 2019. So this is 0121. And so the date code on here, which starts with the 0, this one is kind of hard to read. it has an X after it, so it's 0113. There is Mike in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So I may have to edit the title later and put this as a 2020 MRE instead of 2019. Again, these halal MREs are very snack heavy. So Cajun mix. There's Aletha in the house, my Iowa sister. 0100 is a date code on this. So this is a new one to me. So they have definitely changed this up since I had this back in, I think, 2017. And it was a 2015 Halal MRE. This is a lemon lime flavored drink mix. And that will go into the drinking jar, which I got back here. Well, this is a big old thing. The patriotic sugar cookies. So some of them do appear to be intact. There is Sunshine in the house. Thanks for dropping in. There's a flameless ration heater, but I'm not going to use it this time. I'm just going to boil the main. Here is the accessory kit, which varies from the standard mil-spec MREs. And then the last. So this is the banana pudding. This has a date code of 0055. And of course, this is the sleeve for the Saag Chole. Has a nutritional stuff. It's got the ingredients, allergen info, all that stuff. I have a plastic bag off to my left for putting the trash in. And also, again, these halal MREs do not have any kind of a hot drink. No coffee, no tea, no cocoa. So I decided to get the G7 coffees that I got from Dave's 45 Auto. And these only say use 75 mils of water. That is less than 3 ounces. So I'm going to put 2 of these in the foreign MRE mug. Now we'll get into this accessory kit. I don't think this bag is long enough. Do you think they need to put this in a longer bag? There is Pete in the house. Thanks for dropping in. So what you get in the Halal MRE accessory kit, you actually get a napkin, where the standard US MRE, you do not get one. You get white matches. And these are made by a company called Atlas Match. Don't know if it'll focus on there. Doesn't want to match. It doesn't want to focus, but it says Atlas Match and it has their phone number. So white and then white tip. So again, that's different from the standard MRE. James in the house. Just going through the chat, make sure I'm catching up. Got a wet wipe. See, these are, I think, these are different from the wet wipes that you get in the other MREs, or at least a different packaging. You get a spoon. Of course, I have my foreign MRE spork over here. Get 2 sugars. Why they put 2 sugars in here when you don't get anything to put it in? I haven't quite figured that one out, why they would do that. But that's okay. It just adds to my collection of military ration sugar packets. Get salt and pepper. Now, pepper needs to go in the other MREs, not just salt, because maybe the soldier in the field might actually want a little extra flavor, and pepper would give him that. And of course, you have your obligatory rear roll. Lighthouse. It's a non-profit that employs blind people to create these rear rolls, and it's got their web address and phone number on there. San Francisco. So that is what you get in a Halal MRE accessory kit. Oh, Dub, see the Dub C? There is Petey in the house, thanks for dropping in. There is Dub C, thanks for dropping in. The reason why I got this G7 coffee is that, Dave's 45 Auto reviewed it, but he did not like it one bit. So I commented that I would be willing to give it a good home because I happen to like it. I got introduced to it a few years ago at the first Iowa YouTuber meetup camp, and so far we haven't had any just YouTuber meetup camps, unless you count the country prepper camps as meetups, because other YouTubers, do join in on that. But I got introduced to that, and so that's pretty much my go-to camp coffee. I see Southern Ohio prepping in the house. Booger Butt and Booger Butt have come in. Oh, looks like we're going to have a crowd. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put my powder in the drinking jar. I use scissors to cut it open because there's actually no tear notch on this package. So this calls for 12 ounces of water. This bottle holds a little over 13. So I just fill it up to just below the threads. I mix these drinks up first because they take a little extra time to dissolve. Oh, Aletha, I lived on ramen at quite a few different times. And I still like ramen once in a while. And I have been finding some different ramens in stores that I will try. And so far, I have not found a bad ramen. I have found miso flavored ramen. I found kimchi flavored ramens. And just a few different ones. Extremely spicy ones. There's that mixed up. So now what I will do, I'm going to go into the kitchen. I'm going to put this in the pot to boil. And then I will bring back the kettle to mix the coffee, and I'll be right back. This coffee has a creamer and sugar already in it. It is a Vietnamese coffee. And you can also get G7, that is just straight up coffee that does not have the sugar and creamer in it. You can buy it on Amazon and, of course, eBay. And you can go into Asian stores and find it. That's where I bought the other 2 unopened bags that I have. Speaking of foreign MRE, look who it is. Saying hello to everyone. There's Art and Ornina. Hopefully having a good Sunday down there in Texas. So there's the coffee. I'm going to take my kettle back into the kitchen and I'll be right back. I'm going to start opening up all these snacks. This is the fruit and nut mix. It didn't want to rip very well, so I had to get the cheaters out. Get rid of that. This is a typical fruit and nut mix. It's got some almonds, banana chip, raisins, got papaya, and there's a piece of walnut. So I do not see any peanuts in this one. So I think walnut is the only nut you get in this one. Now the Cajun mix is going to be like some of those other pub mixes, or Carla's in the house. Thanks for dropping in. Oh, sorry about the shaking. It's this camera mount is not all that steady. Oxygen absorber out of the way. So you get different bits. There's is kind of a cracker type thing with the seasonings. Got mini pretzels. These look like seasoned corn nuts. So that is a second snack. So I would call this having two desserts, since you got cookies. I'm going to cut this one across the top instead of trying to use a sideways tear notch. Now these are pretty busted up. So that many left in the bag. So I am going to leave the rest of these in the bag off to the side. Now this banana pudding has a tear notch that goes this way, but I am not going to go for that. I'm going to cut it across here. So I can squeeze it out into this section over here. Oh, this looks like butterscotch pudding. Shove my coffee back. So that is everything opened up. The pouch does say banana pudding. Might not focus on there, but it does say banana. So I was expecting it to be a little more yellow. So I'm going to go ahead and give this Cajun mix a try. I'm going to take a bite of one of the pretzels. Before that, I'll say hi to Will, GIT Preparedness Info. Thanks for dropping in. This is a Cajun mix seasoned pretzel. It is a bit, I just taste mostly the salt on this one. So I'm going to eat one of the corn nuts. I'm getting a little bit more spice from that. This appears to be a mini sesame stick. Yep, that's exactly what that is. Here's another piece of a sesame stick. And this is another one of those little crackers. Sometimes you find something like this in the Asian rice crackers. Those are the ones that usually carry the heat, and this one does have the heat. That little bit, I definitely felt the heat on. Now I'm going to take a drink of the lemon lime. I'm not getting a whole lot of the lemon lime flavor, so it's not extremely strong, but that's okay. It's not extremely sweet, which is good. I mean, I'm going to have enough sweet from the fruit mix, from the cookies, and the pudding. Yep, Mila said a few meows. Now she's going to take a drink of water. Oh, there actually is a bit of pineapple in here. Just checking for any other nuts besides the walnut, but nope, it's just walnuts and the one almond. So I happen to have the one almond right there. I have not done that because I normally don't keep ice. But what I do sometimes is I will get water out of my fridge and put it in a bowl. So that's usually what I would do in the summer. This is one of the sugar cookies, a piece of one. banana pudding. It's a very smooth pudding. It does not have the grit feeling that the older puddings used to have in these halal rations. So it definitely tastes banana. I do get that. Now I'm going to have a drink of my coffee. Oh yeah, that G7 is good stuff. I like it. You may hear Mila meowing occasionally. Sometimes she just sleeps through my live streams. Sometimes she'll make an appearance. In fact, she's right down here. I'll take you off the mount. Mila! There she is. So there was Mila. Now I'm going to go get the main and I'll be right back. I am back. Got a paper towel to dry it off since I just took it out of the water. Get that out of the way. This time I will use the tear notch that goes side to side instead of, they used to go across this way. So I shake it down. Well, that tear notch does not want to cooperate, so I'll try the other one. There we go. Now this is very soupy. And it's very green. Sorry, I keep bumping my phone mount. It's all the spinach that's in here. Yeah, thanks for dropping in, Puppy Breath. Yeah, it's spinach in here, so it's a lot darker. If it were peas, it would be a lot lighter in color. That chickpea, so it has chickpeas in here, also known as garbanzo. So there is a piece of the lamb in the sauce. It's not dry, it's tender. It just falls apart. It's like a pulled meat. There's not a whole lot of the lamb in here. I'm sure it's more expensive meat to put in a ration. But it's very good. It'd be nice to have some crackers or something to mix in here. That's okay, Aletha. Thanks for dropping in. You know, life happens. It'd be nice if the chickpeas were just a little bit firmer, but they're still pretty good. And it definitely has a spice to it. I'm going to throw some of these pretzels in here just for the heck of it. Of course, it'll make this saltier, of course, but just to give it a little crunch. That does give it a little crunch. I'm sure if this is a home-cooked meal, this probably would be served over rice. So if I had some rice in this ration, I would have put it on top of the rice. But I'm definitely enjoying this. A little bit almost get onto my cookies. So again, I apologize if I sort of inadvertently lied during the Ration Museum chat when I said I was having the jalfrezi, but I wish, but the Saag Chole is my second favorite. In fact, out of all of the wet pack MREs that I've had, jalfrezi is the top as far as US MREs, and then this is second. Now, for those that don't like spinach, they may not be interested in this one, but it's definitely worth a try. In fact, I think this is, other than the chickpeas being super soft, I think this is an improvement over the older Saag Chole that I had from a 2015 Halal MRE. It is good. And it has a kick to it on its own, even before I put the Cajun seasoned pretzels in there. Now this would be good if you had some bread to dunk in it, since this is a very loose sauce. So, Pete, if you haven't tried this Saag Chole or the Jalfrezi Halal MREs, you should definitely get it. And Canadian IMP lamb stew, that one was awesome. That one was kindly sent to me by another YouTuber because I had a hard time scoring that. But that one was absolutely awesome. Well, that's okay, you know, Rachel, everyone has their own different tastes. But this one just happens to be right up my alley. I just had another drink of the lemon lime drink. Olga's Kitchen is she a YouTuber? I do subscribe to a channel that features Polish cuisine. Sometimes I'll share some of those videos on Facebook from my mom because, you know, we are Polish. I have not had a Dutch ration, so I can't say anything about that. I would love to score one. But finding those is pretty difficult and even more risky if you order something that is shipped from another country. There's a high probability that it could get raided, just like the RCIR that I ordered a couple months ago. That got raided. They even took the little spork out of the stove kit. They took the two meat mains. They're, I think, chicken and beef. And they took the chicken pate. And they mangled the box and they almost damaged a couple other items in there. We don't have that here in Iowa. There's a restaurant just a few blocks from where I live in an area called the East Village, called the Olympic Flame, and they have Greek food. I've never eaten in there. Back in the late 80s and early 90s, I worked in a Greek restaurant that was owned by a guy from Ames, but his family also had one in Mason City. I don't know if the one in Ames is still going, but he turned it over to the Des Moines restaurant is called Papu's. The last name of the original owner is Papuchis, but he just called it Papu's. But he turned it over to these other guys who just didn't keep it as good as the original owner did. And yeah, it did not end good for them. I'm going to toss a few of these other bits in there just for some more crunch, just because I feel like it. That's okay. We all have our occasional oops. It happens to all of us. I've had a couple of those. Actually, a couple packs. One of my friends from the mosque gave me a bag of them. But they were like an original flavor, not one of those more unique flavors that sometimes will appear on Dave's 45 Auto on his channel. He'll get Stroop waffles that have some unique flavors to try out in his midweek snack videos. One of these days, I want to find something that's uniquely Iowa to send to him. We have a coffee here that has the name of a local coffee shop here, but it's sold in a Hy-Vee store. I might get them a bag of that or something, I don't know. But if I can find something that's uniquely Iowa, you know, I do have that bag of corn nuts that I found at the Hy-Vee the last time I shopped there. It's a chili flavored, but that's the only bag that I saw. I want to go back there and see if I can find that again. I'm actually going to try those on camera and put up a video about them. Yep, the corn nuts, especially if you can get the flavored ones, they're pretty darn awesome. They take the seasoning really well. They just hold on to it. I'm going to go for another handful of my fruit and nut mix. The banana chips still have their crunch, but the other fruit pieces are chewy. But they only gave me one almond, so here is a lone piece of walnut. Walnut still has its crunch. So, oh, there's another almond. But they are not salted. They're not even roasted. But it's still a good mix. Well, speaking of claws, I'm assuming you're referring to either lobster or crab. I had a couple of crab claws when I brought home that seafood from Mother's Day when we were over at a house that two of my sisters share, and we had a Mother's Day dinner. Or basically a late lunch. And because it was still during Ramadan, I was fasting, so I didn't eat any there, but I brought it home. That crab was awesome. Well, all of the seafood was awesome. And the mussel shells did not go to waste. I had 3 mussels, so that's 6 shell halves. I broke up 5 of them. One was already broken anyway. And I put that into my compost, because you can compost shells from clams, oysters, mussels. You can break those up, put them into your compost, just like you can eggshells. But I kept one because I actually used that to kind of dig my holes to put my seeds in when I planted my seeds yesterday. Shrimp will probably be the least expensive. But you can get shrimp, really small to really big. Or you can get the bigger cousin to shrimp, which is a prawn. Those are probably pretty good size ones. I'm guessing anyway. Oh yeah. Here in Des Moines, a waterfront seafood market, and I'm assuming this is how the Laughing Crab does it, where we got our food from for Mother's Day. And they fly in the crawfish from Louisiana once a year. And you pre-order how many pounds you want. And so when they get those orders in by a certain date, then they will order that much by weight from their supplier. And it's flown in direct to Des Moines. And then people that put in their pre-orders can come pick up the amount that they ordered. I'm just going through the chat while I'm munching on my Cajun mix. But Rachel, sounds like you're going to be going to an awesome place. I pointed that almond right at your comment that says, yes, I'm nuts. Sorry, I had to. Wow. That sounds like you're going to have a good time. I've never traveled that far east. I've only been as far south in the U.S., not counting going through the Texas, the Dallas airport to go to Mexico, but to stay in the U.S. to spend at least a night is Arkansas. I've been to Alabama. That's the only other southern state I've been to. We stayed in Birmingham because we had an aunt who lived there at the time. When we were kids, my sisters and I were in our teens. Or actually, I wasn't a teen yet. And I don't think my sister next to me in age was, so maybe a bit younger. We were there for Thanksgiving, and we went to the Galleria Mall, and they did a laser show inside the main atrium of the mall, and it was crowded. Yeah, we were packed like whales in a sardine can. Never been that far west. I was born in Nebraska. I've been to Kansas and I've been to Oklahoma. I've been to Minnesota and I've been to Ohio. I passed through Illinois and Wisconsin. But I never spent the night in either those two states or Michigan. When we went to Alabama, we spent one night in Memphis. So I guess I can count that I spent a night in Tennessee. Yeah, Pete, if you want to go to what I would call the real Mexico, you have to go inland. But because it's a lot more dangerous down there, a lot more violence, I would definitely not go. But if things are a lot safer down there, I would go to the smaller towns outside of the bigger cities. But you can go to the pyramids outside of Mexico City. And after the 1985 earthquakes that happened in September, I was down there in June of '86. So I got to see some of the damage that the quakes caused in Mexico City, around where the presidential palace is, the Zócalo, which is that big square, where the Basilica de Guadalupe is. There's some other buildings around there. There's hotels around there. And we stayed, when we spent one weekend in Mexico City, we stayed in the hotel right on the Zócalo. And so every morning, there's a military band that will play the national anthem and raise just humongous flag. I mean, this thing is huge. So Saturday morning, I heard the band. So I got out of bed. I opened up the curtains a little bit, looked out, And the guys had trouble raising the flag because it got tangled up. That was funny. Chichen Itza, I have not been there. Outside of Guadalajara, there's a town called Tequila. It's an actual name of a town. And we went to a tequila plant, Herradura brand. And we went to other places called Tonalá, Tlaquepaque. So those are the other two small towns that we went through outside of Guadalajara. But I was down there for classes and I got college credit for it. So that was even better. My second oldest sister went to Yucatan years ago. And she went to the Gulf to dive, to snorkel. And they went to a place called Isla de las Mujeres, which means Island of the Women. Why it was called that, I don't know, but that's where she went. But I would like to go farther south in Mexico to some of the other ancient sites, like where the Momex had their society, where where the other indigenous tribes used to have their home bases. So it's not just the Aztec down in Mexico. There are Maya and a few others. So I attended a school down there, and then we had group activities. And then there was one weekend where we did not have any group activities, so basically we called it our free weekend. Everyone else but me and our group leader went to Puerto Vallarta because they wanted to bum on the beach. And that's not my style, plus I didn't want to get fried. But one member of the group did not pack sunscreen. It did not borrow sunscreen from many of the others in the group. And I'll tell you, she was Washington apple red when I saw her the next Monday. She was wearing a red tank top, and her skin almost matched the color of her tank top. That's how red she was. So she learned a lesson from that mistake. Oh yeah, taking a shower was painful. She needed to bathe in aloe. Oh, wow. That's pretty bad when you actually have to have hospital treatment for a sunburn. And then you have to watch for skin cancer later in life. I'm still chomping on this fruit nut mix, mostly fruit now. But this is a good mix, so I just wish that the nuts were salted and roasted. That would definitely leave some serious scars. Hopefully she got good care when she was in that Aruba hospital. Yep. When I go out, and I'm going to be out for an extended period of time, I slap on the kids' sunscreen. That's right. Kids' sunscreen. Here we go. I'm going to dip the cookies in pudding. Yeah, that's good. Now you can see how light my skin is, so, and I freckle. I don't have a lot of freckles showing right now, but later on this, when the summer gets into full spring, full swing, then my freckles will definitely be popping. So I slap on the sun sauce. So when I go on my family trip the first week of August to Lake Icaria, and we're already booked for next year, I will take SPF 50. The sunscreen that's meant for kids or babies. Yeah, I use that. Yeah, dipping these cookies in this pudding is pretty good. Now, these cookies are not as sweet as most sugar cookies you would get in a store. Now, there is a complete flag. One of the few that did not get busted. Let's see. Well, besides the jalfrezi and the Saag Chole, there used to be ratatouille, but I don't know if that's still in the lineup. I have actually not had that one. There's a beef stew. There's a chicken stew. There's chicken with noodles. I think there's another vegetarian main. I have not been on the MRE info site, but I'm pretty sure someone has probably added info on the current Halal MRE menu lineup. I just grabbed another phone and we'll see what I can pull up. Oh, that brought up food packet survival. I don't want that. Or long range patrol. I don't want that. I'd like to get my paws on an LRP also. That's the standard US MREs. And accessory packs. I'm just going to do a search for halal and see what pops up. British 24-hour rations? No. Let's see. Current U.S. rations. See, it says HDR. Totems. I haven't had a totem yet. LRP. MCW. Kosher halal. Here we go. The My Own Meals. I have had a few of those. There's a close-up of that. But it doesn't have... I don't see... Let me open this up. No, that didn't work. I'm not seeing the... I'm going to keep trying. Not just going to these others, so maybe maybe they just haven't had a section for that. I don't know, but I'm not finding anything on the Halal MREs on MRE info, so maybe someone has to get in there and archive all of that. So I'll just go back to my cookies and banana pudding. Yep. Oh, that's good. That's good, Mike. Average Joe reviewed a totem not all that long ago on his channel. So they're not as calorie loaded as the standard MREs. But they can still be good. So I would like to try some of those. That's okay. Pete, thanks for dropping in. So there will be one more Sunday this month. That's okay, Rachel. I'm probably going to close this out anyway pretty soon. But I will do this again next Sunday, and I will have... I think I am going to do that gamer-themed Minotaur version of A Meal Cold Weather. So that one may... meet one of my trays next Sunday. So that has a chili mac in it, if I remember right. I'd have to go look at it, but that one should be good. Nothing wrong with a good chili mac. But anyway, I want to thank you all for coming and hanging out. And also thanks for supporting the Ration Museum by going to those streams every Sunday. I missed the last two because I was away. No, actually, I was in there last Sunday, but the 2 Sundays before I was not in there. I was busy with other stuff, so... But I like what he's doing with taking the pictures of the stuff and Nick putting it all into the database. So it's tedious work, but it's got to be archived so that everybody knows everything that's in the collection, where it came from, any extra notes that may go along with it. Like the space food that he showed off today that he recently acquired. So, yeah, good stuff. But I'll be on same time next Sunday. Unless I end up getting called to do something and I'm spending a little extra time away from home. I just don't know that, but you know. sometimes things happen, especially if it involves spending time with my mom and maybe doing some stuff for her to help her out, since she tires so easily. But anyway, thanks all for watching. And again, thanks to Foreign MRE for dropping that super chat earlier. That's much appreciated. And catch you on the flip side.